The Link 1 that searches the field spell is finally here for Orcust. Hello guys, and we'll go back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we're taking a look at Orcust with the new support Galatea, as well as the new Link 4. And let's be honest, it's just this guy. It's just this guy, right? This is the one that matters. It's Link 1, it searches the field spell and other things, and it also allows you to reborn it for extra material. What more could you ask for? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, because of the way that Master Duel specifically has its ban list, we still have Nightmare Mermaid as well, which means that Orcust not only has the new any normal summon does full combo, it also has any two guys does full combo. So we're doing the whole is that two monsters thing, because yeah, we can go any two guys into either Nightmare Phoenix or into Moon, which is kind of crazy. Also, because of the way that Nightmare Phoenix is worded, you can actually use tokens, which is very nice, because there's a lot of ways that you could just get a token dropped on your field, like for example with a Nibiru, or more specifically with Girsu, which is very nice. So yeah, this is pretty solid. If you don't know, Orcust's main game plan is to summon out Girsu on the opponent's turn via, or at least currently what it's doing prior to the new support, is summoning out Girsu with Symbol Skeleton at quick effect speed during the opponent's turn after setting up a battle. On top of that, pairing it with things like IP Masquerena to go into like an SP or into an Apollosa or something else of that nature to kind of do an additional thing, right? On top of that, it has hands where you can set something like Crescendo, which is just an Omni-Negate counter trap that negates and banishes if you control an Orcust Link monster. The way that you're doing that is through Galatea, and then you just have some insane follow-up due to the fact that all of your cards activate in the grave and like just cycle themselves, and it's a pretty small engine as well. You can also see that we are playing a ton of hand traps in here, and that's generally the idea behind it. It also pairs very well with the Fiendsmith cards because, hey, is that any two monsters? Any two monsters goes into full combo for both of them now, which means that we can also play things like Terror Top. You play Terror Top, you go into any of the two guys, and you're off to the races. So we're going to quickly go through the card by card and the explanation, and yeah, then we'll get into the replay. Starting off with Terror Top itself, Terror Top and the Takatomborg. We're also playing, of course, the Fiendsmith engine with the 1 Lurie as our search target off of the 3 Tracked. We're also playing 2 Engraver and the 1 Lacrima, as well as Fiendsmith in Paradise. Pitching cards is pretty standard in this combo. In fact, if you do the combo with the Girsu, the standard 1-card combo, you actually pitch 2 cards. So having additional cards to send to the graveyard and generate effects that way is not terrible. As for the, that's it for the Fiendsmith engine. As for the Orcust engine, we are playing a whole bunch of cards that are kind of just bricks, but generate additional advantage. We're playing 1 Orchestrated Return, which is kind of a draw to. Realistically, you could cut this. We're also playing the 1 Crescendo and the 1 Babel that we just generate in our combo, which is very nice. And then we're also playing 2 just big bricks, basically, in World Crown, which is something that you can search off of the Galatea, or this one, the Link one, which is just another body. And then we're also playing the World Wand, which is something that you send off of the Orcust Nightmare in order to generate advantage that way as well. As for the rest of the cards, it's just 2 Symbol Skeleton. We want it sometimes. It's kind of a starter. It's not really, but it's kind of a starter due to the World Crown. So there's that. And then we also have a 3 Harper because now we can normal summon it, and it's still a 1-card starter, which is pretty nice. And then, of course, a 3 Girsu. It's the best 1-card starter, but yeah. So, of course, we're playing 3 of it. And then we're also playing 2 Orcust Nightmare. This is a card that isn't always seen in Orcust. Or at least in the TCG, it wasn't being played. And the reason for this is because it's kind of a brick. It's just like a dead card, right? You don't really want to see it, especially in the more modern lists, where, you know, you basically wanted to see Harper or Girsu, mostly Girsu, because it's just the most amount of material. However, because of the fact that we still have Nightmare Mermaid, yeah, we're playing Orcust Nightmare. So there's that. As for the rest of the cards, it's all just non-engine, right? So we're playing Droll, we're playing Ash, we're playing Maxi, Fuwa, we're playing Lancia still. If you're wondering why we're still playing Lancia, didn't Malice just get hit on the most recent ban list? Yes, technically speaking, it did. However, it's still one of the best decks in the game. So, of course, we're still playing Lancia, and of course, we're also playing Nibiru to punish greedy players. And then we are also playing 2 Called By, and that's it for the non-engine. As for the extra deck, it is pretty simple. We are playing just the 2 Fiendsmith fusion monsters, as well as the rest of the Fiendsmith engine. The 1 Requiem, the 1 Sequence, Agnum Day is also in here, and then we're also playing 1 Moon. And then as for the Orcust cards, we are playing the 2 Nightmares, the Nightmare Mermaid and the Nightmare Phoenix, which makes any 2 guys into the full Orcust combo. We're also playing the 1 Dingirsu, only 1 Dingirsu for the for part of the end board, right? You send it to the graveyard in order to reborn it on the opponent's turn, as well as it's also just protection. You can like summon it in specific matchups to just give protected destruction effect protection, or actually just destruction protection. It can detach material instead of cards being destroyed by battle or card effect, which is pretty nice. We also have, of course, the new Galatea. We have the 1 original Galatea, which just shuffles a card back from the banish in order to set a spell trap, which is also nice. So through this card and this card, you can get both Crescendo and Babel, which is very nice. We also have IP Masquerena. It's very important to the end board. If you get Dark Locked, you can still go into this guy and then potentially make something like Apollosa or SP, or the other Link monster, which is Enlilgirsu, this guy, which is the new Ningirsu monster, and he's very good. You can target one of your banished Orcust or World Legacy cards and add it to the hand. Then you can shuffle a card from your hand into the deck and take control of an opponent's monster. Let me say that again, because you may have missed something there. You can shuffle a card from your hand into the deck and take control of a face-up monster your opponent controls. That's not until the end of the turn. You just get that card. That card is your card now. Oh, they want to have their Nibiru? Nope, mine. Oh, they want to have their monster to tribute? Mine. Nice Murakumo, it's now mine. You discard a card. Yeah, that's how that works. Crazy. I actually don't think that's how that works, but still. On top of that, you can, during the main phase, if the card is in the graveyard, because it was sent from the extra monster zone, this turn, you can banish it, target, send a card in the field to the grave. Mostly it's just used for that yoink effect. Being able to just steal and permanently keep a monster is crazy, by the way. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performs. Alrighty, so here we are going second, and hey, that's a pretty good hand. But we're going to see what our opponent is playing, and that is Malice. It's Malice. Of course it's Malice. It's always Malice. By the way, 66% usage rate on that card. That's crazy. That's just... Lancia should not have that usage rate. Anyway, if you're wondering why I'm actually activating in response to the allure, it's because it's actually advantageous for me to do that. Yes, they just get like a free pot of greed, but it's way better than them getting like Chessy Cat or something else of that nature in this instance. They also draw the one of Bias, of course. Anyway, out comes Lingaribo. I'm like, okay, sure. And then I see the backup Agnister and I go, oh, cool, Nibiru's online. Most likely what's going to happen is they're going to go for the wizard here. They're going to pitch a card. They're going to activate the effect of the wizard, and they're going to reborn the guy in the graveyard. And they're going to be like, haha, I still got to do. Wrong. Here's Nibiru. Yeah, just away it goes. Away goes the entire field. There's not really anything they can do at this point. They're going to set a card and just pass the turn. And at this point, Tract is a very good draw. So we're going to start by normal summon the Terratop, and then just special Takatom board. Not looking good for me, but it's fine. I mean, we have Tract nonetheless. But we are going to go for the Nightmare Phoenix here, and we're just going to elect to pop the card by pitching the Nightmare, because that basically does the same thing as going into the Nightmare Mermaid. We're just going to elect to pop the card there. So we're going to pitch the Nightmare here, and then just activate Tract. To the which my opponent will Ash. I do think that is an option. It doesn't matter. They're dead here. They just don't know it here. Because guess what? Is that any 2 guys? Whoa! Anyway, Fiendsmith. Yeah, so they stopped Fiendsmith, and then I went into Fiendsmith anyway, because Moon still exists. I don't know why Moon still exists, let's be honest. They banned it in the TCG, and I think that is absolutely the correct thing. Because here's the thing, if you're going to play Fiendsmith, I'm fine with you playing Fiendsmith. Fiendsmith is not an issue. The issue is when you can splash Fiendsmith by doing any two guys into full Fiendsmith combo. That's when it's a little frustrating, if not a lot frustrating, so... Oh well. Anyway, we're going to fuse here. The reason for this is pretty simple. I'm going to go Lacrima here, activate its effect, Reborn, and now we can go into our Sequence. So we hadn't gone Sequence up until this point, but now we can actually use Sequence with all three material in the grave, and then we still have the ability to send with the Desiree here, while still keeping the necessary materials for our Desiree. If you're wondering also why we're activating the Agnum Day right now, can't we, like, save it for later? It's a quick effect, we get more damage. The way that the Orcust cards work is that they lock you into darks for the rest of the turn. And it's not just darks from the extra deck, it's that you are locked into summoning darks entirely. So from deck, extra deck, graveyard, wherever. You just can only special summon dark monsters for the rest of the turn. So that's why we do this the way that we do. You always go for the Fiendsmith line first, and then you go into the Orcust stuff. So there's that. We're going to go and use Nightmare in order to go into the Harpor, and then Harpor into the Girsu, and then Girsu send the World Wand. World Wand is going to bring back the Nightmare, and then I go, wait, that's lethal. So I just attack for well over lethal. We could have also continued and done the entire Orcust combo, but there's no point. We know the card in hand is Jessie Cat. We know that they don't have anything. We're just going to go to combat and kill them. So, good game. Alright, here we are once again going second, and is that Fool Loss? And it resolves! That's crazy. Our hand is, like, fine. It's not exceptional, but my opponent is playing Mitsurugi. So, Mitsurugi actually has some fairly good lines in Fool Loss. They can give me, like, one draw, and I'm totally A-okay. So they're going to special summon here off of the Saji here. They're going to add up the Ritual, and I'm like, that's fine. We just draw a second Fool Loss, but that's fine. It's not like it's going to do anything here, except for the fact that this card, for some reason, tells you whether or not it's summoning from deck or from hand. Yeah, I fire the second Fool Loss, and now I get two cards here, and, yeah, I don't know why Fool Loss exists, let's be honest with ourselves. Anyway, they're gonna tribute the, the Habakiri to go for the Murakumo. Out comes Murakumo, and, I draw just some of the worst draws you've ever seen. Holy crap, those are terrible draws. But it's fine. They're going to go for prayers here. They're going to tribute and grab up another Habakiri, and then they're going to special summon back the Saji, which is all good. To be fair, these two actually do have effects on field. They can tribute themselves in order to protect your other reptiles. So that's actually not terrible. So, makes sense? Yeah. Anyway, out comes the Murakumo as well. It comes back, and they're just going to set one, and then... This is a weird choice from them, because I'm going to get two draws off of this, and I draw into Maxi because of that. But they go to Garrus to just, like, draw two. I don't know why they gave me the additional two draws when they also get just two draws. So, seems a bit strange to me, especially with what happens next here. So, I draw for turn. I draw Lancia, which is, like, terrible. But I already have the called by, so I'm going to call by the Maxi that they have. They elect to just force me to discard as opposed to actually activating their trap card. That could have negated the called by. So, I guess. I mean, to me, it's like, why even interact with this? I guess you pitch a card anyway, regardless, but, sure. I just activate the Maxi here as well in chain, so that I actually get my Maxi, because there's a very, very high chance that they actually give me a draw off of it, so there's that. But they also do allow me to just send my Harpor to the graveyard, so that's fantastic for me. Anyway, I'm going to activate the Engraver here and just see what they have. They are electing to negate that. I could not tell you as to why they do this. Here's the thing. The way that Murakumo is worded, it comes back now, and when it comes back, it blows up my field. So electing to negate off of this effect when I have nothing on my field means that you are missing out on a big chunk of your points of interaction for a Ash Blossom, basically. Which is just not worth it, right? So basically what happens is they use one of their most powerful trap cards to just activate Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring on me. Which is, like, sometimes that matters, but I have 5 cards in my hand. But then they activate the Droll, and I go, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. However, it doesn't matter because neither of my engines care at all about Droll. Like, I kind of care, but I really don't. So I'm going to go normal summon Girsu, and we're going to go into the World Legacy tokens. We're going to give both sides of the field the World Legacy tokens. And out comes Galatea, and then into our Moon. Hey, look at that. Is that a Light Fiend? They're going to activate Nibiru here. That was on summon number 5. They were just like, Nib! Get his ass! So, cool. Anyway, I have a Light Fiend in my grave, so I'm just going to put back with Engraver, special summon out the Light Fiend, and yeah, anyway, do the full combo. Anyway, this is still the same thing. I guess I don't have the Fiendsmith Engraver online, technically, but who cares? We're just going to activate the sequence here. We're going to shuffle back 3. We're going to go to the Desiree. We're going to activate the effect. Sorry, we're going to go into the Agnum Day. Agnum Day effect is going to activate, or Desiree's effect is going to activate. We're going to send the Nibiru away. If they, like, Fool us here, it doesn't matter because of Droll. So, yeah, we're just going to go to Agnum Day, and then at this point, we get to make the entire Orcust line. So, out comes the Nightmare, which we already, we already used Girsu, so might as well go for the Nightmare here. And at this point, Atem elects to concede. Yeah, no wonder. Horrible use of resources there. I absolutely could have gotten cooked there if they had used things even remotely correctly, but alas, they elected not to. So, good game. Alrighty, here we are going first, and you're in my hand again. Are you kidding me? Anyway, it's fine. We're going to go for the Terror Top here. We're going to activate its effect. My opponent is going to activate the Fool Loss, and I'm going to activate the Ash Blossom here and just hope and pray that they don't have Maxi or a second Fool Loss, because for some reason that card is not once per turn. I don't know why. Anyway, we're going to go for the Takatomborg and go into Nightmare Phoenix here. Again, we have the Fiendsmith engine. Doesn't make sense to go for the Fiendsmith engine here. We're going to go for the Nightmare Mermaid. Nightmare Mermaid is going to pitch itself in order to go into, or sorry, pitch a card in order to go into the Nightmare here. From this position, I actually activate the Galatea, or go into Galatea here, just to grab up Babel. I think Babel's pretty important, so we're going to do that. My opponent's electing to Nibiru here, and I'm like, hey, okay, bud. We're going to activate that, and then just go into the Tract here. We're going to activate Tract, pitch Lurie. Lurie is then going to special summon itself. And from this position, we can do pretty much the same thing that we were previously doing. That Nibiru was terrible. I don't know why they elected to Nibiru there, but alas, it's fine. Anyway. We're going to go into the sequence here. We're going to activate the effect of our Galatea, which may seem strange. But the reason for this is because if we were to activate our sequence, because we don't have the Lacrima in grave, we'd either have to shuffle away the Lacrima, or we'd have to do like a bunch of other weird things. I'm just like, okay, we'll just do this. We'll go into Galatea. I'm going to activate the effect of the sequence here, and we're going to go into Lacrima, because I want to special summon it back, the Engraver. And then I misclick, and I go, oh no, it's in my hand. Whoops. I've already activated the effect of Tract, so this is just like objectively bad. I'm still going to activate the effect and grab up Tract here, but at this point I'm kind of cooked, so I decided to kind of pivot, and I'm like, okay, I'll go Ding. Ding can add back the Orcust Nightmare that I previously banished with my Link 1, because we had the World Wand in the grave anyway. I was like, yeah, this seems pretty good. So we're going to attach here, and then I'm just going to make Apo. I'm like, Apo still exists, so we're going to do that. We're going to go and activate the Lacrima effect, and then we're going to activate the Nightmare effect here, and just do the Orcust line. So our goal here now is kind of different. We're actually going to go World Wand here. We're going to special summon back a guy, and then we're also going to go for the Symbol Skeleton in grave. We're going to special summon back the Galatea, which we haven't used as of yet, so we can actually just shuffle back another guy, and since we already grabbed Babel off of the Link 1, we get to grab Crescendo here. So now we still have Crescendo, and we get to make Enlil Girsu, which I'm just going to call Yoink, the Yoink Man, because guess what? That Nibiru is mine now. So the previous card that was a problem for our Apollosa is now no longer a problem. Hell yeah. Anyway, my opponent activates 7th Tachyon and reveals the card that outs the Apo. Whoops. Anyway, out comes Aggregator, out comes X. They're gonna negate, or we're gonna negate the X here. And then I'm like, okay, there's like one card. Okay. Here's what I'm thinking. I can yoink the X here, which turns off the sword, turns off Sword Ryzeal from being able to special summon itself and search out a guy. So I can kind of force out a normal summon from that, which makes their hand significantly weaker. If they were to normal summon something like an Ice Ryzeal, I can also Crescendo it and just negate it, and now it's banished, and they can't get anything off of that. And we still have Dingirsu to potentially send an additional guy. So if their hand is 2 engine, which is potentially pretty likely, But it has to be like two very specific engine. It can't be another X. It can't be another, like it can't be Node. It can't be like Star or anything like that. It has to be specifically Ice and Sword for them to not immediately die to Crescendo. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to actually yoink here because then they don't have a name. So I just yoink. That's my X Ryzeal. And my opponent sees the writing on the wall and goes, oh, I can't beat Crescendo. And just concedes. Good game. Alright, we're back with the deck, and honestly, this deck is still very cool. I have always liked Orcust. I think it's very cool the way that it works and the way that it functions. It's always a very low-to-the-ground style deck. However, with the new cards, it's become a little bit more of a combo deck. That being said, Dear Lanta, this guy's so cool. You saw in that last game how insanely powerful it is to just yoink a guy, and you just get to keep him, which is kind of crazy. So I just like generated two guys because they had two guys on the field, so they're mine now. Kind of crazy when you think about it. It's just like also a very powerful effect. Think about how many cards need like specifically named materials or you know, need like to have an additional guy on their field or something like that. And you just get that guy's mine now. Very, very funny. And yeah, all in all, like, the deck plays... One of the biggest boons for this deck is that it does not care about draw. Like, at all. It cares a little, because technically speaking, your Galatea needs to search a card, and, you know, if you do that, or if you do, like, Fiendsmith first or something like that, you can potentially not get all of the searches. But to be fair, you also get basically your entire end board with 1 to 2 searches, right? Technically speaking, Terror Top needs a search, Engraver needs a search, or Tract needs a search, and Galatea needs a search. Those are the only 3 things. All of them are optional. And all of them also, if you were to search with any of them, you can generate enough advantage, even under Droll, to basically not need any of the other 2 searches, right? And in fact, oftentimes, you really only need 1 at any point, right? As much as Galatea is nice, you could also just set Babel off of the other Galatea, or you could set Crescendo. So it's not like you actually need the search off of Galatea. So, there's that. All in all, it's a very fun deck, and I think it's really well positioned because of the fact that it plays so heavily around Droll, and it also plays pretty heavily around a lot of other decks, or a lot of other cards as well. Even things like Fua, it has pretty good lines through, just due to the fact that, like, while yes, it does kind of get hurt off of, like, Harpor and stuff like that, it also has the ability to just make a very simple board of, like, IP Masquerena pass, and it still kind of works, right? And, like, it also has just an insane amount of non-engine and stuff like that. It's not great into a lot of these, like, power cards, right? But, you know, with Droll, Maxi, Called By, you're probably okay for the most part. You could also cut a few cards and make it a nice clean 40. You could cut down on, like, I don't know, tracts or what have you. You cut the orchestrated return. In fact, realistically, this is what you should be doing, is just this nice clean 42. And in fact, do that. If you stuck around to this point in the video, type in the comments 42. That's it. Just no context. Just type 42. That's it. But I'm gonna call it quits there. Hopefully this helped out. And this deck's so cool, dude. The new cosmetics are also sick as well. Just the Pokedex for Orcust is super cool. The collector's file, sorry, that's what it's called. So yeah, very cool, very fun. I really enjoyed this deck. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy it. If you did, like us very much, so appreciate it. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye bye.